I'm home in bed asleep. I get a call from the chief deputy.
This is DEA agent Mike Grimes.
And he told me, we got an airplane, and said, you need to come down here right away. And when I got there was a lot of confusion.
People were confused for a number of reasons. First of all, it was 1980, and a large World War II-era cargo plane had just landed on a pretty remote runway outside of Varnamtown. Second, it had the REO Speedwagon logo on it. Third, it was packed with drugs. And finally, the pilots had disappeared.
I am at my car taking notes, and this deputy comes up and said, Mike, there's a Chinese guy walking up the road. And I was kind of new here, okay, Chinese guy walking up the road. I'll make a mental note of that. Thanks. So the deputy, I know what he thought. He said, oh, okay, well, guess you're not interested, and let it go. So I climbed in the airplane. There was a flight jacket, but I look in the pockets, and I'm pulling out this paper. It's got Chinese writing on it. Son of a bitch. Go find this guy.
Welcome back to Varnamtown.
Do you think that there's a secret connection between Varnamtown and China?
I mean, at this point, anything's possible. Maybe it's not just Escobar in Colombia. Maybe China was involved.
It's kind of amazing how much international shit is happening in this town of 300 people. It's like you've got the Colombian drug plane, you've got the Chinese pilot.
Well, I'll bet it blew Grimes' mind.
It did. So Grimes starts a manhunt looking for this Chinese pilot. And he figures it should be pretty easy because in the early 1980s, there aren't that many Asian people living in Brunswick County. So Grimes figured that the pilot would stick out, but it turns out that the chase was only just beginning.
Chinese? Where is that hitchhiker? He's gone.
Somebody picked him up.
Yeah, somebody picked him up.
Huh.
So I called my friend Rayford Brown at the local TV station. I said, Ray, I need you to announce and ask if any viewers saw a Chinese person hitchhiking in Brunswick County the night before. And they posted my office number on the screen. We had a TV in the office, so I'm sitting there watching it. And as soon as it goes off, the phone rings. It's a Baptist minister. He said, you want to know about a Chinese guy? I said, yeah. He said, I picked him up hitchhiking. I said, oh boy, this is good. I said, well, where'd you? Well, we went here, and we went there, and we went down this road and that road. I said, where did he go? He said, oh, I dropped him off at the Hilton.
Hilton?
That's right. After all this driving around, the Chinese pilot got dropped off at the Hilton Hotel in Wilmington, just down the street from Mike Grimes' office. So Grimes asked the Baptist minister what happened next.
Oh, he said he couldn't hardly speak English. So, well, where'd you drop him off? He said, I dropped him off at the Hilton. What did he do? He went in the door. And then what happened? I drove away. That's the end of the minister.
Grimes realizes that it's been hours now since the minister dropped the pilot off at the Hilton, so Grimes snaps into action.
And it's nighttime now. I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning, but it didn't matter. The adrenaline is running. So I run down to the Hilton. The manager comes in, and I asked him, I said, did you see a Chinese man here this morning? He said, yep. What did the Chinese man do? He said, well, he was kind of hanging around over at the payphone, looking at the payphone. And then he came over to the desk. I said, what did he say to you? He wanted to borrow 20 cents. I said, did you give it to him? He said, yeah, I just gave it to him.
20 cents? Why wouldn't he ask for $20 maybe just to get a bus ticket out of there, right?
Yeah, 20 cents seems like a pretty small ask.
I mean,
maybe that's as far as he thought he could go. Like it would be an over ask to ask for 30 cents. 30 cents would be too much.
Yeah. Too suspicious.
I sympathize with him because he kind of just fell out of the sky
Right.
and landed in Varnamtown.
Right.
And he's probably just wants to talk to somebody who makes sense. Yeah. It's like, how did I end up here?
Yeah. Take me home.
Just help me.
Oh, dear.
Well, he went back over to the payphone, and he's there for a long time, and then he walked out, and he's standing out front. And then what happened? He said, well, a taxi cab picked him up. Now he's in a taxi cab.
He took a taxi?
He took a taxi. Like, why not take a Greyhound and make that 20 cents stretch?
Where do you think he's going?
I have no idea. Where could he go in a taxi?
Yeah, back to the plane. Maybe
Back
he's
to
gonna
the
try, yeah,
plane?
maybe he's going to try and get out of
You know
Dodge.
what? You know what? I might go back to the plane and take some Quaaludes. Just chill out. He's probably really stressed
Yeah,
out.
I would guess so.
I called all the cab companies. Well, I finally tracked down which taxi cab it was. And I said, just check your driver, see if somebody picked up a fare at the Hilton. Yeah. Guy picked up a Chinese guy at the Hilton. Oh boy, I got him now. Where'd he take him? Well, this guy starts in with this long story.
I love it that Grimes is in a huge rush to try to track down this Chinese pilot. Like, this is happening in real time. Like,
Yeah.
the guy is out there on the run.
Yeah.
And Grimes is asking, okay, where is he right now?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, let me tell you when I picked him up. So you found the driver. The driver,
And the driver is riding all over Brunswick County. So I said, well, then what happened? He said, well, I took him back to Wilmington. Where did you go? I went to the sheriff's office. Why? He said, I had him arrested.
Why did he have him arrested?
Because he didn't have any money to pay the fare.
So the 20 cents he used to call a cab?
That was all he had, was the 20 cents.
This pilot is the most wanted fugitive probably in North Carolina at that time, maybe even on the entire eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
And he is arrested. But why?
He doesn't have enough taxi fare.
He doesn't have enough taxi fare.
I said, you mean he's in jail over there now? He said, I don't know. I guess he's still there. They put handcuffs on him. So I call to the sheriff's office and ask them, do you have a Chinese prisoner there? Yeah, a guy named Hugh Chang. I said, well, where is he? Well, he's here in the jail. I said, okay, I'll be right here. So I run over to the jail. And when I get in, I'm looking through the glass window waiting to get let in. And I see my buddy Herb Scott, he's a lawyer, is coming out. And there's a Chinese guy behind him. And I said, wait a minute, Herb, where are you going? He said, I'm bailing this guy out. I said, Herb, who hired you? He said, I can't tell you. I said, Herb, I'm not letting you out of here until you tell me. He said, well, Mike, you're going to have to lock me up. I said, come on, Herb. Who hired you? He said, take it to a judge. So I arrested Chang. And in his broken English, he's trying to tell me about the airplane. He admitted right away that he had flown that airplane in.
Finally, Grimes has Chang under arrest.
And not just for skipping the taxi fare.
Right. Also, in connection with the drug smuggling.
Yes, and after that whole rigmarole, all that running around, it was kind of easy.
Yeah, because Chang was already in jail.
He was exactly where Grimes wanted him to be. I bet Chang was walking out as quickly as he could.
Right. Because he was getting bailed out on the first charge, which is not paying the taxi driver.
Much preferable to the second charge.
Yeah, flying a giant plane full of narcotics into Varnamtown and then abandoning it.
Yes, from Colombia.
Yeah, bail would be a little steeper on that.
Yeah.
Well, it should be smooth sailing for Grimes, right? No more running around.
Well, you might think so. But the story only gets stranger the more that Grimes learned about Chang. So, Kyle, you've actually used HelloFresh.
I have used HelloFresh.
Yeah. Tell us about your experience.
Well, it's exciting. You get to open the box, so it's sort of like Christmas. I happen to like that process, pulling
Opening
stuff out of the box,
boxes.
opening boxes.
You like opening boxes? Well, great. This is perfect for you. Hello, you get to open a box.
I get to open a box full of stuff, and there's your meal. And you don't have to think about it. You don't have to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, it's set up.
I like that.
Each HelloFresh box is packed with farm-fresh ingredients, and everything arrives pre-proportioned right to your doorstep for less hassle and less wasted food.
Go to hellofresh.com/VarnumTownFree and use the code VarnumTownFree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at hellofresh.com/VarnumTownFree with code VarnumTownFree. What do you think?
I'm ready for an English breakfast.
You ready for scones?
Chang was a refugee from mainland China. His whole family was in mainland China. He became a Taiwanese Air Force pilot. He could fly cargo planes, fighter jets. I think he was qualified in like umpteen airplanes. He was a colonel in the Taiwanese Air Force.
Very accomplished.
Very accomplished pilot. I got to know him very well.
Grimes says that before Chang landed in Varnum Town, Chang had taken a massive risk that changed his life.
Chang stole a Taiwanese cargo plane and flew it into China, got his entire family on the airplane, and flew to Taiwan.
This was the Cultural Revolution in China, and millions of people were dying, so I could see Chang feeling like, holy shit, I've got to get my family out of there.
Yeah.
Because they're going to die.
Yeah.
So he'll risk everything.
Yeah, of course. Absolute desperation.
He's flying back into enemy territory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And landing.
And landing.
Yeah.
Who knows where.
Yeah. Getting the family on the plane and then taking off again.
The result was when he got them safely back to Taiwan, he faced a court-martial for desertion and told Grimes that he was looking at the death penalty.
Yeah. Well, he put himself at risk to save his family.
Yeah. And so what he did was he fled to Africa, of all places. And according to Grimes, Chang ended up flying cargo planes around the African continent and got dispatched on one fateful trip to Colombia.
So some cocaine traffickers or drug traffickers in Colombia needed a pilot. So they go to the Colombian police, and the Colombian police drag Chang's ass off one of these airplanes and says he's under arrest for some bullshit thing. And the only way you're going to get out is you're going to fly as a co-pilot in this Lockheed Lodestar
From REO Speedwagon
REO Speedwagon from Barranquilla, Colombia
to Brunswick County, right?
to Brunswick County.
Right where we're sitting.
Yeah, it's either that or he can sit in jail for the rest of his life.
Colombian prisons aren't particularly nice,
I wouldn't want to be in one.
but I don't know. This sounds like a death mission. Like, what happens after this? This guy has had quite a string of luck.
So he says, okay, I'll take the get out of jail free card. He gets on the airplane and he meets the pilot, James Roper. He's an American. He says he can fly this airplane.
Who is he?
A drug trafficker pilot. He can fly some airplanes, but he wasn't qualified in this, and Chang knew how to fly this airplane. So they take off and everything's fine, and they get to Brunswick County. Roper flaps down, wheels down, and he comes in, and Chang is telling me this later. And Chang says, too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast, too fast, you know.
Wait, Roper
Wait.
didn't actually know how to fly the plane?
You sort of think you want to figure that out before you get on the plane.
I agree. I agree. But I guess Chang, as we said, I guess Chang didn't have a lot of choice in his co-pilot here.
Good point.
He went from a bad situation to a worse situation because it's like, not only does he have a death sentence for him back in Taiwan.
Right.
And now the Colombian narcos are saying that if he doesn't do this, they're going to put him in prison. And now he ends up on a plane with somebody who doesn't know how to fly the plane.
The fact that this guy's still alive is pretty amazing to me.
And now Chang's in a real fix.
He said, we're going to crash. And he jerks the yoke away from Roper and hits the throttles and goes up in the air.
So they aborted the landing.
Yeah, just before they hit the end of the runway, and they pull back up.
I mean, think of it. This is a World War II plane. This is propeller. It's not jet.
Yeah.
It takes a while for this plane to climb, right?
That's right. So you can almost imagine the trees at the end of the runway, and it's nighttime. It's the middle of the night, so they can't even quite see the tree line.
Right.
Well, Roper still wants to land the damn airplane. And Chang's telling him, no, you're not going to land it. So Chang takes the airplane way up. I guess he set the damn autopilot or something. He and damn Roper are getting a fist fight in the cockpit, in the seats, punching him. Chang says, I kill him. He's going to kill me with this air. He don't know how to fly that airplane.
So there's a full fist fight in the cockpit of this drug plane flying over Varnamtown.
I honestly have never heard anything like it.
A brawl in the cockpit of a plane loaded with drugs as it's flying on autopilot over Varnamtown.
It's just incredible. And so somehow, Chang manages to subdue Roper enough, at least, to focus on flying the plane, and Chang brings it in for a landing.
He brings that plane in and lands with no problem at all, because he knew how to fly. And as they're coming in, they see blue lights from the police car.
Because they think that there's a plane in trouble.
Yeah.
They don't suspect it's a drug smuggling.
So Chang and Roper jump out of the airplane and run.
A concerned citizen had seen the plane's aborted landing and called the police. So now Chang and Roper run off separately before the cops arrive, leaving the plane just sitting there running on the airstrip. And Chang and Roper are on the loose.
Chang is hiding in the woods, but when the sun comes up, he gets on the road and starts hitchhiking.
Where did Chang think he was going? I mean,
He didn't know.
This is a mess for Chang. He was supposed to be back in Africa.
Right. Yeah.
Now he's
walking up 133 in Brunswick County. He is the only Chinese person in the county.
According to the 1980 census, there were actually 6 people of Chinese descent in the county.
So Roper disappears, but now Grimes has Chang in custody, and Chang has told him this wild story about freeing his family from communist China and working in Africa and getting trapped by Colombian narco traffickers. And now he's here, down the road from Varnamtown, in the custody of the DEA.
I mean, that is a wild life story.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you had any unexpected benefits from using OneSkin?
It's amazing. It actually, this peptide, OS1, it reverses skin's biological age by reducing the number of senescent cells, those zombie cells that you talk about that are in our body that don't do us any good. And they reduce them by 50%. This is incredible.
Who wants a zombie cell, by the way?
I don't want
nobody.
A zombie cell.
I want the zombie cells gone.
Josh, OneSkin is more than just skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. Get started today with 15% off using code TOWN at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code TOWN. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin.
Well, Grimes now has a key informant, and he starts pumping Chang for information. But then he gets a call saying that a local cop named Larry...
I mean, that's a great name for a local cop.
Yep, the local cop Larry pulled over a van with some Colombians driving away from the REO Speedwagon site that night.
Larry Joyner, he always worked uniform, was on his way from the sheriff's office down to the Speedwagon in a step van, which is like a bread truck or UPS or FedEx truck. passes Larry going the other way. Larry didn't recognize it. It's, 2 o'clock in the morning or something. So Larry turns around, and curious, and he follows the van, and I forget the purpose of the traffic stop. He stops it. There's 5 people in the truck. One of them, his nickname was La Gorilla, the gorilla. He was from Miami, and he was a Colombian. He was in charge of the load. Larry, and he's by himself now. He gets all 5 of them out of the van. He gets the life history of all 5 of them. He kept them there for a damn hour.
You've got 5 narco traffickers. You've got them lined up in the middle of the night, and it's just you. Larry, this is pretty ballsy.
Totally.
Do you think the gorilla, this lead Colombian guy, do you think he looked at the other 4 guys and was like, let's just take Larry out? It's the gorilla and 4 other guys against Larry the traffic cop.
Yeah, I'm liking this Larry guy.
Yeah, because you could imagine him coming at this with like his hand on his gun, and it doesn't seem to me that Larry's coming in with aggression.
Right.
It seems like he's coming in with curiosity.
I agree.
And that kind of changes the tenor of this middle of the night encounter with a Colombian narco trafficker in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it becomes more of a conversation. Larry said, look, I just want to understand you.
Yeah.
It became emotional in my mind. Larry could sense that these guys had just had something really bad happen to them.
Right.
Right? They had a bad turn of events.
Yeah.
And Larry's there for them. He's a kind-hearted cop in my mind, Larry is.
He's kind-hearted Larry.
He gets identification from them all. He writes down their full name, address, date of birth. He's got everything. Then he let them go.
Larry's too nice. He's too nice of a guy.
He must have checked the van. He must have searched them. He must have not found any evidence of,
It's pretty damning that there's a group of people fleeing the scene of a plane filled with drugs in the middle of the night.
Right.
And Larry's like, nice chatting. Yeah. I can tell you Mike Grimes felt very differently.
Well, I wouldn't.
When he got Larry's information, he calls Larry up.
Right.
And he says, guess what, Larry?
Yeah.
We're going to Miami. So he's taking Larry down to Miami so that Larry can visually identify the gorilla. Because it turns out Larry is the only person who had seen the gorilla.
Yeah.
And so Grimes basically ropes Larry into this kind of Wild West adventure to Miami.
Oh, my God.
And we don't even know what Grimes' plan is. We don't know what he's going to do in Miami.
And we have to assume that he has the home address, that he has the real home address. Who would give you a home address?
Well, but Larry was asking very nicely.
Right.
So the gorilla wrote his home address down.
So they didn't feel any threat at all. That's very smart then. Grimes could give Larry one of the 2 of the Quaaludes just to calm him down.
He probably
on
needed
the plane. If he'd never flown before. Oh my God! Does he know what he's getting into? I mean, he's going to Miami to track a Colombian narco trafficker. It seems like that's not what Larry does every day.
I also wonder how well Larry knows Grimes' style, because Grimes' style is not to hang out with you and have a nice, friendly chat for an hour.
Yeah.
Grimes wants to, slap the handcuffs on.
Yeah, no, he's much. Yeah, I would say he's much more aggressive. All right, so now Larry's Grimes' sidekick.
I wonder if for Larry, maybe this was exciting. I mean, he's like a local Varnamtown area cop, and here he is going on this pretty grand adventure to Miami. Get some sun, maybe have a couple drinks, sit on the beach. Yeah.
Enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, wear a kind of a loud shirt, Because normally Larry is a uniform cop. He wears a uniform, but on this trip, he's not wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
He gets to wear whatever he wants.
Well, he might have one of the Miami Vice suits.
Yes.
Maybe Don Johnson's
I
got
like that.
Right?
I love the image of kind-hearted Larry going full Don Johnson.
I like the idea he's shopping. He's gone shopping to go to Miami. So
well, you have to imagine that Grimes is not going to just show up in Miami with kind-hearted Larry dressed like he does in Varnamtown, they're going to stick out. They have to go undercover.
Exactly.
Right? This is probably Larry's first undercover operation, so he's got to dress like a local Miami resident.
Yeah,
he's getting to discover a new side of himself.
Exactly right.
Right, because he's curious. Yeah. He's kind-hearted Larry who wants to meet people and talk to them.
Yeah.
He's got like the colorful floral shirts now.
Absolutely. Got the loafers on. Josh, Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
It's true.
I've got an idea. It concerns a little company called Via Hemp. They have a product that can help set the mood in the bedroom, more than just a black light poster.
That works, though. That works.
That also works. They have developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids. That's a great word. That gives me pleasure just saying it. Pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids. And that gummy will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience.
It will intensify any sexual experience. Just be you by yourself.
Could be, but sure, it's going to be intense. Let the gummies work their magic. Head to viahemp.com, use the code TOWN to receive 15% off, plus one free sample of their Sleepy Dreams gummies. Ooh, that sounds good. You have to be 21 years or older. That's ViaHemp, ViaHemp.com. Use the code TOWN at checkout. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with high love from ViaHemp. What's stopping you? I don't know.
We go to Florida. We go to the DEA office there. I told them, look, we're here. We'll go stake this guy out. And if we see him, we'll call you.
So the plan was they're just going to stake the gorilla out. And if they see him, they'll call the local agents. And the local agents will come in and arrest him. They'll do the heavy lifting.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
You think that's how it's going to go down?
I mean, of course not.
So they're staking out the address that they have for the gorilla, which who knows if the gorilla gave kind-hearted Larry a correct address, and a car pulls out.
We followed a car to a grocery store. And we go in the grocery store and we're following them. And the guy stopped at a cold case, where they had cold stuff, And I kind of walk up, and Larry and I kind of walk up to him, and Larry's standing away. And the guy turns around and looks at me. And I turned around to Larry, and Larry says, yeah, that's him. I said, the hell with it. We'll lock it. I'm going to lock his ass up right here.
So you arrested him?
Yeah, I'm not going to call the office.
Grimes is just like, fuck it, we're taking this guy down cowboy style right now. Grimes has gone into Chuck Norris mode.
So I can only imagine Larry is freaking out about now.
Right, because Larry's the uniformed cop who takes meticulous notes and wants to know your life story.
Right.
And
by the book.
And here they are in this grocery store by the cold storage, and Grimes is attacking this massive man who's named the Gorilla. Yeah. Larry's like, I just want to have a pina colada in South Beach. That's what I came here for.
Exactly.
I imagine Larry's kind of got one eye on the ice cream freezer.
I do too. I'm sort of thinking, what am I going to get?
Grimes is like kicking the gorilla's ass, and he's got him on the ground, and he's handcuffing him, and Larry's like, I wonder if I could just take one of these popsicles. Do you think that there was a moment as Grimes is going full Chuck Norris on the gorilla and handcuffing him, arresting him, when the gorilla looked over down the aisle of the grocery store and locked eyes with Larry?
Yeah, in fact, in my mind, everything's going to slow motion now.
Yes.
and the music is welling.
And the gorilla says, it was you.
It was you.
It was you, Larry.
Yeah.
I thought we had something.
His heart is broken.
Yeah.
Oh.
Larry broke the gorilla's heart.
Yeah, sad. Very sad.
And Grimes, being the conquering hero here, doesn't just arrest the gorilla. He eventually uses Chang's information to track down Roper. Remember Roper, the other pilot?
So he got Roper too?
He got Roper too.
Wow.
And Roper was found guilty of smuggling marijuana and Quaaludes.
What happened to Chang?
Poor Chang, despite cooperating, also went to prison.
Oh, I feel bad.
For a long time.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, everything went sideways when that plane couldn't stick the landing. In the next episode of Varnamtown, we're going to keep digging into the REO Speedwagon incident, because there was another big problem. Roger Morton's brother, Dwayne, who was working his clam cop job that night, ended up getting arrested and was accused of involvement in the drug smuggling. Varnamtown is produced by Epic Magazine, Picture Perfect Federation, and Full Picture in association with PodcastOne.
Special thanks go out to the residents of Varnamtown for telling their story and to Lynn Betts for her help.
The Epic team includes Harry Spitzer, Josh Levine, Frank Slodisco, Melise Toussaint, Dan O'Sullivan, and Leela Tulin.
Additional reporting by Kijin Higashibaba.
The Picture Perfect Federation team includes Patrick Waxberger, Ashley Stern, Tyler Nell, and Samina Martin.
The Full Picture squad is Desiree Gruber and Ann Walls. Frank Reyna supported me during production. Original music composed by Jonna Bechtold and Rob Kieswetter. Additional music provided by American Production Music, Epidemic Sound, and Premium Beats. Studio recordings took place at Silver Lake Recording Studios.